Plant-based diets are on the rise. From fast food chains to grocery store shelves, plant-based meats are being marketed as the healthier, more sustainable alternative to traditional meat. But is that really the case? While these products may seem like a great option at first glance, the truth is far more complicated. Many plant-based meats are loaded with ultra-processed ingredients, harmful additives, and hidden toxins that can have serious effects on your health. In today's video, we're uncovering the hidden dangers of plant-based meats, the questionable ingredients lurking inside, and why these alternatives might not be as healthy as you've been led to believe. Stick around because what you learn today might just change the way you think about these so-called better options. Let's get into it. Many people switch to plant-based meats believing they're making a healthier choice. But are they? Let's start with what's actually in these products. Unlike real meat, which is a whole food with one ingredient, plant-based meats are highly processed and often contain dozens of additives. A 2021 study published in Frontiers in Nutrition found that ultra-processed foods, including plant-based meat substitutes, are linked to higher risks of metabolic disorders, inflammation, and cardiovascular disease. One of the biggest issues with plant-based meats is their reliance on industrial seed oils like canola, soybean, and sunflower oil. These oils are heavily processed, prone to oxidation, and can contribute to chronic inflammation. A study in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that excessive consumption of omega-6 rich seed oils can increase the risk of heart disease and other inflammatory conditions. Unlike natural animal fats, which are stable and nutrient-dense, seed oils degrade when exposed to heat, creating harmful oxidation byproducts. Then there's the high sodium content. To mimic the flavor of real meat, plant-based alternatives are often loaded with sodium, artificial flavors, and flavor enhancers like monosodium glutamate, MSG. According to research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, consuming high levels of sodium from processed foods is directly linked to increased blood pressure, kidney damage, and an elevated risk of stroke. Beyond meat and Impossible Foods, what's really inside? Two of the most popular plant-based meat brands are Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods. While they're marketed as clean and sustainable, their ingredient lists tell a different story. For example, Impossible Foods patties contain soy leg hemoglobin, a genetically engineered protein derived from soy plants. The FDA approved this ingredient in 2019, but animal studies published in toxicology reports found that consuming high amounts of soy leg hemoglobin could cause disruptions in gut health and even trigger inflammatory responses. Beyond Meat, on the other hand, uses pea protein isolate, which often contains trace amounts of heavy metals due to the soil in which peas are grown. A 2018 study in Environmental Research found that plant-based protein powders can contain measurable levels of arsenic, cadmium, and lead, all of which have been linked to organ toxicity and neurological damage when consumed over time. Another concerning ingredient found in many plant-based meats is methylcellulose, a thickening agent derived from plant fibers. While it helps create a meat-like texture, it's also a highly processed additive with no nutritional value. Research from Food and Chemical Toxicology suggests that consuming high amounts of methylcellulose can lead to digestive issues, bloating, and disruptions in gut microbiota. And then we have hexane-extracted soy protein, a common ingredient in plant-based meats. Hexane is a neurotoxic solvent used to extract oils from soybeans, and although manufacturers claim that it evaporates during processing, trace amounts can remain in the final product. A study published in the Journal of Occupational Medicine and Toxicology found that chronic exposure to hexane can lead to nerve damage and long-term health complications. So, does this mean all plant-based foods are bad? Not necessarily. Whole, unprocessed plant foods like lentils, chickpeas, and mushrooms can be great sources of nutrients. The real issue lies in the heavily processed, lab-engineered products being sold as healthy alternatives to real meat. But what about the environmental argument? Many people switch to plant-based meats, believing they are better for the planet. While factory farming has its issues, industrially processed plant-based foods aren't without their own problems. The production of soy, for example, has led to mass deforestation in the Amazon rainforest. According to a 2020 report from the World Resources Institute, large-scale soy farming is a leading driver of deforestation, soil depletion, and biodiversity loss. Another major concern with plant-based meats is their lack of bioavailable nutrients. Unlike real meat, which is rich in highly absorbable forms of iron, zinc, and B12, plant-based meats rely on synthetic fortification. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that heme iron from animal products is significantly more bioavailable than non-heme iron found in plants. This means that even if plant-based meats contain added iron, your body may not absorb it as efficiently as it would from real meat. Vitamin B12 deficiency is another issue. Since plant-based diets naturally lack B12, many plant-based meat alternatives include synthetic cyanocobalamin, a less bioavailable form of the vitamin. Research in the Journal of Nutrition suggests that B12 from animal sources, such as beef and liver, is far superior in absorption and utilization compared to synthetic forms. Long-term B12 deficiency can lead to neurological issues, fatigue, and anemia, making plant-based diets particularly risky for those not supplementing properly. Beyond the synthetic additives, plant-based meats also contain natural anti-nutrients, compounds that interfere with nutrient absorption. Soy and pea protein, two of the most common protein sources in plant-based meats, contain phytic acid and lectins. According to a study in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, phytic acid binds to minerals like zinc, magnesium, and iron, reducing their absorption in the gut. This can lead to deficiencies over time, especially in individuals who rely heavily on plant-based alternatives for protein. Lectins, another category of anti-nutrients, can cause gut irritation and disrupt digestion. A report from the British Journal of Nutrition found that lectins in plant proteins may contribute to leaky gut syndrome by damaging the intestinal lining, leading to increased inflammation and autoimmune responses. Another major issue with plant-based meats is the presence of endocrine-disrupting compounds. Many plant-based meat alternatives contain soy, which is high in phytoestrogens, plant compounds that mimic estrogen in the body. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that excessive phytoestrogen consumption can lead to hormonal imbalances, reduced testosterone levels in men, and disruptions in thyroid function. Additionally, many plant-based meats contain bisphenol A, BPA, and phthalates, chemicals that are commonly found in food packaging and processing equipment. Research in environmental health perspectives indicates that exposure to BPA and phthalates is linked to increased risks of metabolic disorders, reproductive issues, and even certain cancers. Since plant-based meats undergo extensive processing and packaging, they may have higher levels of these harmful chemicals compared to fresh, whole foods. The misleading marketing of plant-based meats. Many consumers believe they are making an ethical, environmentally friendly choice when purchasing plant-based meats. However, the marketing behind these products often omits critical information about how they are produced. For instance, companies market plant-based meats as being more sustainable, yet fail to mention the vast industrial processes required to manufacture them. A study from the Journal of Cleaner Production found that the production of plant-based meats requires high-energy inputs for ingredient extraction, processing, and packaging, which significantly contributes to greenhouse gas emissions. Additionally, the reliance on monoculture farming for ingredients like soy and peas leads to soil degradation, biodiversity loss, and increased pesticide use. Moreover, many plant-based meat companies are funded by major processed food corporations. Brands like Impossible Foods and Beyond Meat have received substantial investment from companies that also produce ultra-processed junk foods. This raises concerns about whether these products are truly designed to promote health, or if they are simply another profit-driven attempt to replace real, nutrient-dense foods with industrially manufactured alternatives. Real meat versus plant-based meat. When looking at the nutrient profiles of real meat versus plant-based alternatives, the differences become even clearer. A 2022 study in Nutrients compared the micronutrient density of beef and plant-based meat substitutes and found that beef contains higher levels of essential nutrients like zinc, vitamin B12, and bioavailable iron. In contrast, plant-based meats often rely on synthetic fortification, which may not be as easily absorbed by the body. Furthermore, real meat contains creatine and carnosine, two compounds that play crucial roles in muscle function, brain health, and energy production. According to research from the Journal of Physiology, creatine supplementation improves cognitive function and physical performance, yet plant-based meats completely lack this essential compound. Another key factor is the amino acid profile. While plant-based meats may claim to have complete protein, they often lack sufficient levels of certain essential amino acids like methionine and lysine. Research in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that diets deficient in these amino acids can lead to muscle loss, impaired immune function, and poor metabolic health over time. Why whole, unprocessed foods are the best option? Instead of relying on heavily processed plant-based meats, a better approach is to focus on whole, nutrient-dense foods. If you prefer plant-based eating, consider incorporating whole food protein sources like lentils, quinoa, and fermented soy products like tempeh. These options provide protein and nutrients without the harmful additives found in fake meats. For those who consume animal products, grass-fed and pasture-raised meats remain the most nutrient-dense choice. Studies show that grass-fed beef has a healthier fatty acid profile, with higher levels of omega-3s and conjugated linoleic acid CLA, which have been linked to reduced inflammation and improved heart health. So, are plant-based meats really the future of food? While they may seem like a good alternative on the surface, the reality is that they are highly processed, nutrient-deficient, and often contain harmful additives. If you're looking for a truly healthy, sustainable diet, sticking to real, unprocessed foods is always the better choice. By avoiding fake meats and focusing on whole foods, you can nourish your body with the nutrients it needs without the risks that come with ultra-processed alternatives. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more health-conscious content. What are your thoughts on plant-based meats? Drop a comment below. We'd love to hear from you.